Minister Hill. Minister Hill, we heard a lot from your Prime Minister this morning and from your Minister of Foreign Affairs um, that Jamaica's IMF supported reform program has been widely recognized for strengthening macroeconomic stability and investor confidence. At the same time, climate shocks such as Hurricane Melissa continue to divert fiscal resources and disrupt economic activity. From your perspective, what economic opportunities remain out of reach for Caribbean countries because of these recurring climatic events, and what changes would be needed to unlock them?
Am I on? Yes, you can. Thank you so much for inviting Jamaica and me here. And as you know, we have just gone through a very dramatic, I don't think I'm on. Can you hear me? Yes. A very dramatic and frankly problematic experience with Hurricane Melissa. The destruction has been severe in 7 of our 14 parishes, those parishes on the west of Jamaica. That's where our tourism industry has most of its investments. What that has taught us is historically, and I speak for Jamaica initially because I'm talking about Melissa, but it's pretty true elsewhere, is that many of our roads were built too close to the seaside. Many of our buildings or hospitals in Black River. I was in Korea, South Korea, when a month today is 3 months exactly since Hurricane Melissa came to Jamaica and ravaged our country. When I was in Korea looking at the ad, instead of, I remember all the places I've been around the world, there's Bob Marley, Usain Bolt, sometimes the Prime Minister as fixing the country. This time all you could see is devastated Black River. The hospital, the roof was gone. It was just a few hundred feet from the sea. The port and all the cathedral, all gone. And so we realize as we look at that, and Falmouth and Lucy, is that we in the Caribbean, and certainly in Jamaica we have built too close to the sea. So what are we going to do next time? We're building, we are building back, but not so much building back, building for the future with tremendous resilience and intention and purpose. And that means, therefore, that we have to build differently. We're going to probably move the town of Black River 3 kilometers inside from the coast. We're going to make sure the bridge over the river is not just a few hundred feet up, but 3 kilometers up, and will be a much longer span. The same thing will have to happen in Falmouth and Lucy as we look at those ports. But as we see what the climatic damage can do, we then have to look at what are the big things in the Caribbean. One of the first things is energy. Cree told you that. So we know that our energy arrangement is out of whack. Yes, we have lots of sunshine, but you don't have the PSI, the power to drive turbines that have to start at a very high PSI to get the engines running. So we are still going to be linked with fossil fuel for a while. How do we make that better, cleaner, and more efficient, and which part of the fossil fuel arrangement we look at? And we in Jamaica, Prime Minister Holness has put everything on the table. We go from heavy diesel fuel right up to when small nuclear plants become available, because that's what we're going to have to look at, and we're taking that very seriously. So the development that we see in the Caribbean is, yes, based on energy, based on being resilient as we build for the future, make sure our debt situation has come down. Yes, we brought it down from 135 to 60. A little hiccup with Melissa. Takes us a few years to get back, but we're staying on course. You heard the Prime Minister this morning. Very disciplined, very focused, and we're not going to be pushed off that track that we have to, because we know, I'm a banker all my life. I know how difficult debt is. I lend money all my life. So I know that you have to be careful of what you can get. In fact, in the past 10 years, to get our debt to GDP down, we have been careful not to borrow very much at all, if anything. You can't continue with that. We're not going to have to borrow. But when we spend, it's going to be investment. It's not going to be just to buy cars and clothes and pretty stuff. It's going to be investment to create jobs and create resilience into the future for our economy. And as we go around the world, and that's part of my job, my friend from Bahamas knows, we go around the world and we take business missions to say, buy Jamaican products, buy Jamaican services, but come to Jamaica and invest. Because of why? We have a currency that is not controlled. We make sure the Bank of Jamaica is independent. It doesn't have to ask the Minister of Finance when rates should go up or down, or the Prime Minister or me or anybody else. They're independent. They have one mandate. The Federal Reserve has two. They have to look after inflation and employment. We say no. We run the government. We will handle unemployment, which is now down to a historic low of 3.3%. You handle inflation, one mandate. That central bank is independent. You bring clean money into Jamaica, take it out, you don't need any approvals. And so we have those institutions that must be strong and strengthened. We have a fiscal a commissioner that looks at how our budget before we spend it. So we put discipline and resilience in place. Those are three of the things. Yes, we have to get education right, and we have to get our the ICT projects right. But Jamaica is serious. The Caribbean, given what has happened in the recent past, both in climate and geopolitical arrangements, will have to get serious. And Latin America and the Caribbean must come closer and join closer in what we do to make sure we're a strong region. When we speak, people will listen. Thank you very much.